class.
So what was it that what was the question they had to answer?
We spoke about subjective and objective summaries, and they were supposed to be able to tell me which was free of personal opinions, which of these statements was free of personal opinions. The correct answer is B. I had about probably 60% that got it out of all three classes.
Who got the actual response?
Got it correct.
So when you look at your exit tickets, what percentage? So it was 60% that mastered, right?
Yes.
All right. So we're still looking at about 40% that did not. So out of the students that did not master, what were the common responses that you got?
A and D.
A and D. Let's look at A and D. Let's talk me through why that. Like, what was the rationale for choosing A or D? Like, what was the connection between either of them?
Both of them had a personal opinion in it, and I'm thinking a lot of the students didn't grasp the free of for some reason, and we discussed that. I discussed that in the teaching, and I retaught it. Free of personal opinions, meaning without any personal opinions.
Got you.
And I'm not certain that they fully. Evidently, they didn't fully grasp.
Got you. So you said A and D both have personal opinions there. Well, go ahead and read A too.
A, C, and D have personal opinions.
Gotcha. So, but most of them didn't choose C though, right?
A couple, not many.
Gotcha.
Mainly A and D.
Gotcha. Okay, let's look at A. Let's talk about A.
All right. My mom is diagnosed with pneumonia, and it's sad when Esperanza plats her hair so she looks better.
Gotcha.
There's it's sad. There's your personal opinion right there. And D, something happy finally happens in the story when Miguel gets his dream job in the machine shop at the railroad. Happy. That's a personal opinion.
Got you. So do you think that they are, so out of the students who did not master, what percentage of those students typically has, like, let's think about which of those students have, are not reading on grade level already. Because my thought is, when I start to see, like, if I don't read the directions, like, what issue could be that I didn't read the directions well? Because it says free
that's,
of.
That's. I bet it'd be 95%
of the 40%.
Yes, guaranteed.
It didn't.
Because it shows in other work.
Okay.
The homework.
Gotcha. Talk to me about though how you taught the personal opinions. Like how did you present that?
I presented it as personal opinions, meaning your personal thoughts, your attitudes, your biases, just your personal opinions in the statement. And I explained to them that a subjective summary is personally opinionated. You have your personal opinion, your bias when you do a subjective. Objective is free of personal opinions. It's just the facts. And that's what I tried to drill in their heads. Objective means just the facts.
Gotcha.
Only the facts.
Gotcha.
Subjective, you're getting I tell them to get out your feelings. You don't want to get in your feelings doing an objective summary.
Gotcha.
And that's how I try to portray it, by tying it to something that get out your feelings.
Gotcha.
I understand what you're saying, Mr. Montgomery. But then when I put it on paper, I'm like, I told them before I gave the exit, I said, I know y'all gonna knock this out the park. I said, is there anybody in here that does not understand what free of personal opinions mean? Nobody raised their hand. All three classes.
Right.
So everybody gave me the impression that they knew exactly what they were.
But that could also tell you that if I don't know something, I'm probably less likely to raise my hand in that setting anyway, right? So let me ask you this question. How are you as a teacher? How do you determine because all they're doing is choosing A, B, C, or D, right? So they're not giving you an actual rationale behind why they chose that response. Right. So right now you can look at A and D and try to, come up with your hypothesis around why they did it. But the truth is, what is it that you're going to need from them in order to improve the instruction, in order to improve the work that they're giving back to you? Like, what is it that you're going to need from them? Because right now we're going on a guess, really, right?
Basically, pretty much, yeah. I've actually looked at some subjective and objective handouts that go more in depth with each discipline, and I said we can go through those and build a blended learning block or intervention as a class to teach each. Break it down, start off with objective, and then go to subjective. And until we get objective down, to a higher percentage, a comfortable percentage, 80% or higher, then move on to subjective.
Gotcha.
So just remediation.
Remediating it, okay.
Yes.
And so I think to add on to this, it's really important for your students, like for you to be able to understand their processing. And when it's multiple choice like this, like it's either going to be an A, B, C, or D. And no matter what you don't, like you can try to come up with a reason why. Like if you, like you said to me earlier, most of the students chose either A or D, right? But they both had personal opinions there. So we really can't come to a conclusion about why this one is wrong. But another way as a classroom teacher that you can push them to give you their processing is to have them actually write down why they chose that answer. Right? Okay. Because then when you have them to write it down, it helps you to know, okay, well listen, this is what he said he did, so then this is where the mishap is happening. Or this is what he did and he just didn't read it.
Right. Or
this is what he did, so you know what? He really does not understand what it means to be free of personal opinion. So right now you're in a position where you don't really know which one it is. Right. So I would push my students in this area. I keep wanting to push your screen like mine.
Right. Touch screen.
I know, right? No. Do you mind if I
don't
slide it down? All right. So right here, all it's asking of them is to actually put down that, have them to give you the rationale.
Explain.
And right.
Or why.
Because I've seen you do that in your classroom. Like when you're teaching verbally, you go, well, why is that? Or why is that? Have them do the same thing here. Have them to dig deep and have them to be able to tell you why they put the answer that they put. Because I think that'll help you with determining what you need to do next in your intervention. That's right. And then, and this is just for me, maybe I'm just old fashioned. I really need to be able to see all of the exit tickets. Is it a way for us to look at only the ones that did not master?
Let me see.
And if it's not, then my ask of you, and this is just because I'm old fashioned, need to see it.
Is where I gave the grade, the zeros and the 15s.
Right.
But it didn't give me a chart or a graph or anything.
And the truth is, like, I don't really need to see the grade, but keep in mind what we're doing right now is we're analyzing what they're giving you to determine what they're going to need from you.
Right.
You know, it's almost like you go into a doctor's office and they're going to check you out to see what is the problem. That's exactly what you do when you do a D3. You're trying to figure out. You're trying to diagnose what the issue is, right? And so it's really hard to do that if I'm just looking at grades. I need to be able to see the student work, which is why the push here is to make sure they give you the rationale behind why they chose A, B, C, or D. And then so it's the same way. It's the same way whenever you start to do your. We were talking about making sure that I just drew a blank. But we were talking about making sure that you did the exemplary response.
Yes.
So that's the same way. Like, what is going to be the response that actually helps me to know that the child understands this objective? And so if it doesn't align, or if they give you something that's way off, then you need to be able to diagnose what it is. Because you're right. Sometimes it is because they didn't read the directions.
Yes.
And then sometimes it's because they truly don't understand how to do it. And then that's when that's what you do with your intervention time.
Right. And this was actually the first exit ticket that gave me a multiple choice. The rest of them are normally response, where they have to give a response. And I can go in and see that this child is totally lost or this child gets it.
So what else could you have done with this? Because if they usually don't give you an A, B, C, or D, they usually have to give you a response. Could you have done something different with the exit ticket?
Could have reworded it and put it in.
And it's not a bad idea and it's not a bad idea to do it, because most of the time on their on like their end of year assessments and things like that, it's gonna look this way. But I'm gonna be honest with you, as a classroom teacher, from the beginning of the year to the end, my children knew that anytime it was I don't care if it was math. If it was math, science, reading, it didn't matter the subject.
Right.
They knew that I had to be able to see their thinking, so they had to always.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Passion.
I understand.
And I want you to look at my writing task that I gave them today. You mind?
No, not at all.
No to a classes.
But before we do that, tell me because I want to see this, but I want you to tell me what the next steps are with this group.
The remediation of subjective and objective. I've got to get some handouts, and we've got to get down and dirty with the handouts and break it down. I've got to scale it back and then build them back up.
And I would even push you a little bit more to think about, yes, the handouts, but you need to know what they're thinking.
Right.
Like how do you in the moment check for understanding?
What I've done this week is we talked about theme this week, and I've given them the same do now 3 days straight.
Okay.
Because I didn't like my responses I was getting back for theme.
Got you.
Theme is a message or lesson that the author's trying to convey in a story. I had them repeat that to me. I had them repeat it after I said it. I had them say it back to me without me coaching. Each day it improved, but it's still not where I wanted to be. So.
And what I wonder though is because giving you a definition of the word theme and then actually being able to find a theme in a story, right?
I've given them worksheets on theme, and we're doing some more. Actually, tomorrow, Saturday school, we're gonna do some more, and then next week we're gonna get further into it.
Okay.
We've done theme and symbolism this week,
Gotcha.
and this is a symbolism worksheet that we had, and I want you to see the difference in. Because the directions, and this is where what trips them up. For some reason, they don't read and comprehend the directions. Consider each of the objects below. What could they symbolize? Explain. I can't tell you how many papers I went through and circled explain. Because they told me what it symbolized, but they didn't explain.
And I think sometimes too, students, like, they need an exemplary response. Like, it's almost one of those things, like, you need to almost show them what an exemplary response looks like. So
I did a key.
And but before we go into this, I want to know what your next step. You are ready. You leave this right here because I want to look at it with you. But
I'm jumping the gun.
But I do want to know, because I want us to close this up about what will happen with your exit tickets whenever you see, because I want you to be able to look at their exit tickets and know where you need to go next. So what would be your next step? What would you do next, or the next time you have an exit ticket like this?
I think what I'm gonna do is turn this exit ticket into a do now, where they have to give me a response that shows me that they understand what free or personal opinion means. I could just frame it as, what does the term or the terminology free of personal opinion mean? Why?
And this is module 2, right? What lesson is this?
This is 27.
And where did you bring your lesson with you?
I did not.
Okay, so let's make sure, because of course I just started, and so I don't. I have 3, so I don't have 2.
Oh, okay.
So if you
I can pull lesson 27.
yeah, let's do
right
that.
here.
Let's do that right quick. Okay. Will you go? This is 27, right?
Yes.
Will you go back up to the learning objective? Okay. Will you share that with me? What is that?
Students will be able to develop a factual summary of the chapter Los Aguacates that is free of personal opinions.
Gotcha. So this objective aligns very well with the exit ticket, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so talk to me about. Well, I'm not going to ask you that right now because I know I want to be able to get into the rest of this with you, but because it aligns well, but you're still not able to see what your students know and what they don't know, or why they chose the answer that they asked. What would be the next step for you? What would you need to do in order for the next time if this happens with an exit ticket? What would you do to make sure that you know without a shadow of a doubt you have come up with a diagnosis for what is stopping your kids from mastering this exit ticket?
First of all, scratching the multiple choice option, and I need them to rephrase the question where they would have to give me a 1 to 2 sentence explanation.
And what would that look like? Would it be like taking one of those examples and having them to tell you if it is free proportional responses and why?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And actually, not to get off topic, we're still on topic.
Yeah.
My do now today was, what summary is free? What type of summary is free of personal opinion? And a lot of them said factual summary.
But even with that, if you think about it, it still doesn't give you it's not an application. It is a recall question, right?
Right.
And so
it is a recall.
Right. So you really want to get them to a point.
Yeah.
Right,
so
right.
I've got
Let's look at